Hello, welcome into my channel Everything PS with UMD. Welcome to the Adobe InDesign Getting Started series. Now InDesign is the industry standard publishing app that lets you design and publishes high-quality documents across the full spectrum of digital and print media. When you start a new project in InDesign, there are a lot of ways to begin. You can create a new document from the scratch, start from a template, and a lot more. In this video, you'll start a new project by creating a new document with the latest version of InDesign CC open. You'll see the start screen which appears when there are no documents open. In the start screen, you can open existing files and create new files, and whether or not the start screen showing, you can always go to the file menu at the top of the screen to open existing documents or create a new document. To start a new document from scratch, choose File, New, Document. The New Document dialog box appears. Yours may look different from what you see here, and that's okay. First, choose a preset option like print, web or mobile, depending on the type of document you're creating. You create a document for a brochure that's meant to be saved as a PDF and printed later on, so click Print to show series preset document sizes for the print document. By choosing the print preset, you're setting several options, including color used and measurement units. After you choose a preset, whether it's print or another one, there are different preset page sizes. To begin with, you can even click View All Presets to see more. Select Tabloid to set the page size, and know that when you choose a preset size, you can always change the size and all the other options later on after the document's being created. On the right side of this dialog box, you'll see a series of options you can set. Most of the time you won't have to set all these options, but let's look at the options you'll set most. Click to highlight the name and change the new. You don't really have to change the name here, but when you save the document later, this name becomes the name of the file. Click play because, and from the menu choose inches. These are called the document units. Later, when you want to measure something or look at a ruler, this is the measurement unit you'll see. Now you can create a custom document size by changing the width and the height of the document. If you want to, you can also change the orientation by clicking one of these options. Click Landscapes of the document is in landscape orientation. Deselect the facing pages option here. A facing page document is something like a magazine or a book, or pages can be arranged in spreads. This document will be a flyer. Sort will only be a single page, which means facing pages does not need to be selected. You can start with a number of pages, but you can also do that after the document is created. There are a lot of other options you can set to fine-tune the document before you get started. You'll become more familiar with these options the more you work in InDesign. For now, click Create to create a new document and open it in InDesign. Once the new document is open, you can change the document settings. The first set in the Properties panel to the right of the document. To change the size of the initial page, you can choose a preset page size from this menu, or enter custom values. Here you can change the orientation and do a lot more. Now to save the document, you can choose File, Save. Choose a place to save the document and make sure the InDesign document is selected for the format. Notice the name of the file is New. And click Save. Create new documents in InDesign is something you'll do often. There are a lot of options to explore when setting up a new document, but first, you can keep it simple. I know that you can edit document settings like the page size later as you become more familiar with them. In Adobe InDesign, we save and work in a file called InDesign document that has a INDD extension, but there are a lot of other file types you can save or export your work as depending on your needs. In this video, you'll save a practice file and explore some of the different formats available when you save or export. To follow along, you can either open InDesign file you have or open this file from the practice files you downloaded for this tutorial by choosing File, Open. To save a file, you can choose File, Save. In this case, you'll save this file with another name, essentially making a copy. By choosing to save as saving a copy all files, a great way to make a backup for yourself or to see the state the document is currently in, so maybe you can go back to that point later, for instance. So choose File, Save As. In the Save As dialog box, you can choose the location to save the file. Make sure that the InDesign document is a chosen format. Change the file name, maybe adding something like V2 for version 2. Then click Save to save the file. You'll find it in order for someone else to open the InDesign file. You just saved no need to have InDesign or Debian copy on their computer. That also means that if they can open the file within the design, you can probably add it at times. You may want to just send a visual of the artwork you're creating in InDesign, so someone who doesn't have InDesign can view it. You can do this by saving your document as a PDF. Anyone with a free PDF reader can then view the PDF file. So let's save this file as a PDF. Choose File. Export. In the export dialog box that opens, you can choose Adobe PDF Print as the format. You'll see other formats in this menu. Mic to Pub, which is typically used for electronic books or ebooks. You also see PDF Interactive. That's a PDF that has interactive features like buttons, links, video and more. Or maybe HTML for website. To save as a PDF, make sure Adobe PDF Print is chosen. And click Save. In the Export Adobe PDF dialog box, you can change options depending on what you're using the PDF for, maybe to post it on a website or print it or both. You learn more about saving for PDF any options in the last part of this Getting Started series called to share InDesign projects. For now, click Export to create the PDF. Or you may see this PDF Comments panel open. If you do see it, come up to the PDF Comments tab at the top right, click on it and choose Clothes. You'll learn more about working with panels and different continents, a workspace in the next video. You can close the open file in InDesign by choosing File. Close without saving it fast. Knowing how to save or export your files in Adobe InDesign also allows you to save copies of your InDesign files, maybe create a version of the document you're working on or share your design with others for review as a PDF. Let's take a tour of Adobe InDesign 2. You can become familiar with the workspace and the tools available with the latest version of InDesign CC open. Once a file is open, you see the workspace is made up of an open document. In the document went down this area, the menus at the top of the application bar, below the menus, the tools panel on the left, and finally, panels that are docked on the right like the properties panel is exploring design. You'll find it. You can arrange this workspace to have things you use all the time easily accessible, or maybe to show more of the document working on and less of the tools and panels. In the tools panel on the left, you see all of the tools you can use to create and edit content in your documents. Some of the tools have a little arrow in the corner, which means are more tools you can choose from. For example, press and hold down on the rectangle tool to see a menu of tools, then choose the ellipse tool from the menu that appears. You can now see the ellipse tool selected. Come back up to this selection tool or the black girl appear and select it. The selection tool's a tool you use a lot to do things like selecting move content. We did so I could come out to the document and click to select this image. If you look at the Properties panel to the right of the document, the Properties panel shows options for the content. You select any options to change, depending on what selected panels like the Properties panel are where you can work with pages, apply to formats like colors and a whole lot more. Click the Pages panel tab at the top to show the Pages panel. Just panel is grouped with the Properties panel and the CC Libraries panel here. To show the Properties panel again, click the Properties panel tab and it'll hide the Pages panel. If you find you need more space in the document window to work on your document, you can click the arrow at the top of the dock panels to collapse the panels. If you want to see the panels again, you can click the arrow again. These dark panels and others are found in the window menu at the top of the screen. Any panel that has a checkmark is open, and currently showing this is also where you'll find the tools and the properties panel as well. What's the open another panel? Choose text wrap from this window menu to open a text wrap panel. This panel is called free floating because it's not docked with the other panels on the right. You can move free floating panels by dragging the title bar at the top of the panel tab. You can also dock one or more of the panels on the left or right side of the workspace. To dock the Textron panel, drag the panel by the tab. The name appears to the right onto the panel tabs at the top up here. When a blue highlight appears around the Properties panel group released, its extra panel is now added to the group. As you start opening and closing and moving panels, you may find you want to reorganize and clean up the workspace. To do this, you can reset the workspace. Click Essentials in the application bar above the document and choose Reset Essentials to put all the panels back to their default locations. In this menu, if you see something else chosen to start, choose Essentials first and then choose Reset Essentials. Organizing your workspace can make working in InDesign faster and easier. Now that you have an idea of how to manipulate the workspace, you can begin to customize your InDesign workspace to your individual working style. Navigating in your documents by zooming and panning will make it much easier to work in InDesign. Now, you'll explore how to zoom in a document and also how to hand in the document window. Now there are a lot of ways to move around in InDesign document. We'll start by discussing what are called view, and when you open an InDesign file, you'll most likely see one or more pages in the document to start, so that you can fit the page or pages into the document window. Choose View, Fit Page and Window. Thanks. Look back on the View menu. View, and like Fit Pigeon Window or actual size, work on the page showing the document window. You can try experimenting with some of these other and like actual science, but make sure you choose Fit Paging Window before moving on. Another way to focus on the content you're working on is by zooming in and out when working with content. Sometimes you need to enlarge it to see more detail. We can do this using Zoom tool and other methods. In the Tools panel on the left, click to select the Zoom tool. Come out to the document window and click once to zoom in. A set amount where you clicked is now in the center of the document window. Try clicking a few more times to zoom in really close now. If you want to zoom out in your document or make things smaller so you can see more with the zoom tool selected, press the option key on Mac or OK in Windows and you'll see a minus sign in the zoom tool pointer now. Click several times to zoom out and then really sticky. Now suppose you need to move around in the document, maybe to a different area. You can do that by handing within the document window. In the Tools panel on the left, select the Hand tool. Thank him out into the document window. Press and drag to move around. You can think of this as similar to moving a piece of paper on your desk. If you drag up far enough in the document window, you can see that this document has more than one page. In this particular document, you can have a lot of pages in one document, and it can also be different sizes, maybe to design multiple versions of a flyer or newsletter for instance. It's a great way to be able to share assets and colors and different things or use in those different pieces. In a later lesson you'll learn more about navigating and working with pages, but for now, make sure you drag up until you see this page. To ensure that you see the entire page, choose View, Fit Page and Window. The currently selected page is fit into the document window. Just below the menus at the top of the screen, you'll see the View menu. This is where you can see the current zoom level. By clicking the menu you can zoom to 100%, 4000%, whatever you happen to need. At this new level, you'll probably be able to see some of the other pages in the document. Another really useful method for zooming in InDesign is to use the View and for zooming. Click the View menu at the top of the screen and you'll see Zoom in and Zoom out. Choose Zoom in. It's like using the Zoom tool to zoom in. It's dimming in by a set amount so that you can see the entire page. Again, choose View, Fit Page in Windows. Being able to navigate your document by panning and zooming will be really important when working in InDesign. It'll allow you to see more detailed content close up for instance, or even take a step back to view the entire document. I hope you enjoyed it. If the video was helpful for you, to hit on the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to turn the bell button on so you don't miss the next videos. And if you have time to learn more, look at the old videos on the channel. See you in a new video soon. Goodbye.